Fuel volatility, rising carbon costs, and ongoing geopolitical tensions are reshaping the economics of global shipping. From instability in the Middle East to disruption along key trade routes, shipping companies are navigating one of the most complex risk environments in years. At the same time, the introduction of carbon pricing through EU ETS is adding a new dimension of cost uncertainty. So how are ship owners adapting, and what role can risk management play in protecting margins in an increasingly unpredictable market? Joining us today is Leah Wieczorek, StoneX Vice President of Carbon Markets. Thank you for joining us, Leah.
Thank you so much for having me today, Fiona.
So shipping is currently dealing with fuel volatility, carbon costs, freight rate dynamics, and geopolitical uncertainty. How challenging is the environment for ship owners right now?
With ongoing conflicts putting global trade routes under pressure, the sector is also more in the spotlight than ever before. It's actually one of the most complex risk environments that we have seen in years. Shipping companies are now managing multiple risks simultaneously: fuel costs, emissions, freight dynamics, and foreign exchange rate. And the real challenge lies not only in the level of costs, but also in the unpredictability and the impact it has on margins and planning.
How are current geopolitical tensions, particularly in the Middle East, and key shipping choke points affecting energy and bunker markets?
Geopolitical tensions are having a clear impact on energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most important energy corridors, and ongoing uncertainty in the region continues to support volatility. At the same time, risks around areas such as the Red Sea and Bab al-Mandeb have highlighted how quickly global trade routes can be disrupted. For shipping companies, this translates directly into fuel and freight rate volatility. In addition, uncertainty around regional supply is having a knock-on effect on trade flows, freight economics, and broader global supply and demand balances, impacting regions in different ways. These dynamics further amplify price volatility across energy markets. Any disruption to supply routes, changes in trade patterns, or heightened perceptions of risk can move oil and refined product markets quickly.
And how is StoneX helping shipping companies manage this combination of fuel, FFA, and carbon risk?
We work with shipping clients to build hedging strategies around their actual exposure and commercial objectives. That includes access to risk management across HSFO, VLSFO, gas oil, and EUAs. A key part of our offering is our dedicated in-house trading desk, combined with a flexible OTC capability. This allows us to structure hedges around specific volumes and requirements, including smaller or more tailored transactions, where traditional bank solutions can be less flexible. In many cases, this can also provide a more competitive pricing and efficient execution for our clients of all sizes. We also provide futures clearing access to FFA futures on both SGX and EEX exchanges, allowing clients to manage freight rate exposure alongside their fuel and carbon risks. And this integrated approach enables shipping companies to align freight, bunker, and emissions hedging under a single counterparty, establishing StoneX as a true one-stop risk management provider for shipping companies.
And shipping is now part of the EU ETS. How are companies adapting to carbon costs, and what are you seeing in the market?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're observing a clear shift from pure compliance to active carbon risk management. Initially, most shipping companies would simply buy EUAs as and when required on the spot market. Now, however, more participants are adopting structured hedging strategies involving futures and OTC solutions to improve visibility of future costs and reduce budget uncertainty. This is being driven by increased volatility in EUAs, influenced by macroeconomic uncertainty, energy market dynamics, and ongoing regulatory discussions in Europe. And consequently, companies are becoming more proactive in managing carbon exposure alongside traditional fuel risk. It's also important to note that from 1st July 2026 onwards, the UK will include domestic shipping into the UK ETS, and there are plans to include international shipping into the UK ETS from 2028. So at the moment, it seems likely that the exposure to carbon markets for shipping companies will only increase.
And looking ahead, which key market developments in the fuel oil, gas oil and UA markets should shipping companies be watching? And how are these developments shaping risk management strategies across the industry?
There are several important developments across fuel oil, gas oil and carbon markets that shipping companies need to monitor closely. In the fuel oil markets, we're seeing a combination of structurally flatter demand growth and continued short-term volatility. Efficiency gains and regulatory pressure are limiting long-term growth, but geopolitical disruptions and shifting trade flows continue to cause sharp price fluctuations. More generally, uncertainty continues to reshape refined product markets, with changing regional supply and demand balances having an effect on refinery economics. Changes in the cost of crude imports, freight rates, and end products pricing, including that of fuel oil, diesel, jet fuel, gasoline, and naphtha, influence how refiners optimize yields. These adjustments create feedback loops that ripple through product supply and demand balances and price dynamics further. In the gas oil market, the focus remains on tight regional balances and the extent to which refinery constraints, diesel demand, and global trade disruptions influence pricing. As gas oil sits at the center of diesel and jet fuel pricing, movements in this market often provide an important signal for broader refined product trends. In freight markets, volatility in FFA futures reflects shifting supply-demand dynamics, changing trade routes, and fleet utilization. As geopolitical developments reshape trading patterns and congestion risks, freight rates can move quickly and reinforce the importance of actively managing exposure alongside fuel and carbon risk. Regarding EUAs, I would say the most important development to watch is the expected EU ETS reform in Q3 2026. The EU Commission is expected to introduce additional measures aimed at reducing volatility and improving price stability in the carbon market. This is, however, a bit of a delicate balancing act. The EU ETS remains the EU's central decarbonization policy tool, and policymakers will need to ensure that efforts to stabilize prices do not undermine incentives for companies investing in lower carbon technologies and fuels. So overall, the common theme is that shipping companies are now operating in a much more interconnected risk environment. Fuel, freight, and carbon are increasingly interconnected, driving a clear shift towards more structured and proactive risk management strategies across the industry.
Well, thank you very much for your insights, Leah.
Thank you so much.
For more videos like this, please do like and subscribe.